In 2022, a wild orangutan named Rakus suffered a deep facial wound. Instead of letting it infect, he did something unprecedented. He chewed a medicinal vine, applied the juice to his cheek, and plastered the leaf pulp over it like a bandage. The wound healed in days. Rakus didn't go to medical school. He didn't read a textbook. He was running a survival program that is millions of years older than any pharmacy. When you get sick, you go to a pharmacy. You grab a bottle of pills, swallow one with water, and wait for the chemistry to do its job. We treat this as the baseline of human survival. But modern medicine is a tiny blip on the evolutionary timeline. For 99% of human history, a simple infection or a broken tooth was a potential death sentence. There were no antibiotics, no sterile clinics, and no germ theory. Yet our ancestors survived. They didn't just stumble through the wilderness hoping for the best. They had a system, an unseen network of biological behaviors, animal observations, and crude but effective surgical interventions that kept our species alive long enough for us to inherit the earth. How did we find the first medicine? We watched the locals. This is called Zoopharmacognosy, the science of animal self-medication. When chimpanzees get parasite infections, they seek out the bitter leaves of the Vernonia plant, chewing them to release compounds that kill the worms. When pregnant elephants are close to giving birth, they walk miles to find specific tree leaves that induce labor. Early humans watched this. We observed which plants sick animals sought out, and we copied them. Over generations, observation became cataloged knowledge. But finding the medicine was only half the battle. You had to treat the wounds. If a hunter got mauled by a predator, they couldn't sew it up, but they had bandages. One of the most effective was sphagnum moss, or peat moss. It doesn't look like much, but it's highly acidic and can hold up to 20 times its weight in fluid. The acidity keeps bacteria from multiplying, while the structure acts as a perfect sterile sponge. Or they used honey. Honey is a molecular trap. It's so dense with sugar that it draws the water out of bacterial cells through osmosis, dehydrating them until they burst. A sweet death, technically. And they used moldy bread, empirically exploiting the same penicillin fungi that Alexander Fleming would formally discover in 1928. But what about when things went seriously wrong? What about when the trauma was inside the body, or inside the skull? Around 10,000 years ago, Stone Age surgeons began performing trepanation. They drilled, scraped, or cut holes directly into living human skulls using obsidian blades. It sounds like a horror movie. You'd expect a 100% mortality rate, but the archaeological record shows something jaw-dropping. Skulls found in Europe and the Andes show smooth, rounded edges around the surgical holes. In bone biology, that roundness means one thing: the bone remodeled. The patient survived. In fact, prehistoric trepanation had a survival rate of 75 to 90%. To put that in perspective, if you had head trauma during the American Civil War or went into a London hospital in the 19th century, your chances of surviving surgery were barely 50%. And then there are the teeth. Look at ancient skulls and you'll notice something odd. Their teeth are straight, no wisdom teeth impaction, and almost no cavities. Dental decay is a post-agricultural disease. Before we started eating soft, starchy grains, our tough, fibrous wild diet forced us to chew hard, which widened our jawbones and made room for all 32 teeth. When ancient humans did get toothaches, they didn't just suffer. They chewed on neem, or wild olive twigs, natural chew sticks that contain antibacterial compounds that scrubbed the enamel clean. We didn't need dentists because our diet was the dentist. So here's the part you can't unsee. We look at a hospital with its sterile white tiles, beeping monitors, and complex charts, and we think, this is how we survive. We've outsourced our healing to the system, but your body's still running the old software. That feeling you get when you start running a fever. The sudden loss of appetite, the shivering, the intense desire to curl up in a dark, warm space and sleep. That isn't just a side effect of a virus. It's an active evolutionary defense mechanism. By shutting down your digestive tract, your body redirects all metabolic energy to your immune system. By shivering, you artificially raise your temperature to bake the pathogens. By isolating yourself, you protect the tribe from getting sick. Your body is performing self-medication. It's behaving exactly like Rakus the orangutan, or the hunter-gatherers of the savannah. We didn't invent medicine. We just bottled it. The next time you get a cold and feel that overwhelming urge to wrap yourself in a blanket and do absolutely nothing, don't fight it. Your body is running a program that was debugged over 1 million years of survival. What is a physical reaction you get when you're sick that makes more sense now? Let me know in the comments.